So I'm about to get dressed and go help Ben bust wood because we're supposed to have another snowstorm supposed to be coming in tonight into tomorrow. So we busted wood last Saturday and burnt through all of that. And so we brought in a load of logs and we're going to work on getting that busted today. And hopefully we can get the majority of it busted because whenever it snow's flying, we don't want to be out there busting wood, obviously. But we have not had any more problems out of our stove. The house has stayed warm for about a week now. So we're doing good. It's just we got to keep this stove full of wood. And that right now is the biggest chore. It's taken so much time out of working on the house and stuff, but it's just got to be done. Okay, so we just finished busting all of those logs and we timed it and we did it in 2 hours, which is like getting better at busting wood, which we have a system, so it's kind of easier on both of us. But a lot of people wonder why we bust the wood small, which honestly it's not small. A wood stove that goes inside your house, you know that this is like huge wood compared to what you burn in there, but we do bust it up kind of small. One, because we have to handle it so much to put it inside the stove, but also because you can't just throw the wood inside the firebox, because if you throw it you can knock a hole in the firebox and then that just like ruins your stove and then you have a whole other problem on your hand. So we bust it small enough so that me and him both can just lightly toss it in there, because I do put woods in sometimes on like super cold days while he's at work. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to address is because I confused so many of you guys in my last video with that wall we built in the bathroom, because if you remember, and if you've been here a while, this is really junky right now because everything keeps flying off the house where nothing's secured whenever we have windstorms and stuff. This is where the mud room used to be, and the mud room will be rebuilt back here. So it'll run like right here over, and then pretty much where you see dirt is where the mud room will be going back. Thought about expanding it over further, but that right there is our well, and we do plan on getting that back in working order. And plus I don't want to cover this window because that's our master bedroom right there, but hopefully you can hear me over the wind. This right here is our kitchen. That right there is the bathroom. And so on the other side of that door is the cellar. And we do have to keep this door tied shut because the wind blows it open. But here is the wall that we built. This used to be a porch and they just boxed it in, and you can see where they cut it out, and that is the access to the cellar. It's like super junky. We have never cleaned it out. We put supports down here if you've watched that vlog. Eventually we will build a set of stairs that go down. There was a set in here but they fell, and that's what that brace right there is. That'll also be our staircase brace. This will not be an entryway into the house. A lot of people thought that this was going to be another entryway into the house, but it's not. All this is just a doorway. Literally, it'll be just like this. We may do something better eventually, but Okay, so I have not vlogged in forever. We ended up getting a couple snows and probably about 8 to 10 inches of snow, and we've been getting a lot of ice, and with it came the cold temperatures, and we're not used to cold temperatures here in Kentucky. We're used to about like 20s, and that's like super cold for us. So right now during the days and stuff, it's only getting up to like maybe the low teens, and then the night is getting down to single digits. So we are having a really hard time keeping the house warm. We thought we had it fixed, and for about a week and a half, it was doing awesome. But now that it's so cold, it's like 65 in the house, and that's like as warm as we can get it. And it was down to like the 50s, 52. So we're working on trying to get it back warm and trying to deal with that. I builds houses for a living, so he has a lot of like contractor friends and stuff. So he knows a guy locally here that specializes in older houses, knows a lot about the insulation and stuff in them. And he was saying that if we have a hole, like 2 holes the size of like quarters and anywhere in the house on exterior walls, which we do, we have several, then what it's doing is creating a tornado effect, and it's actually sucking the air out of the house and pushing like the cold air in. So we're trying every way that we can to insulate all the holes that we can find, any and all, but it's like every time we look we find another one. And we made a lot of holes whenever we ran electric. We didn't think about it and we didn't know, but we did. We cut a lot of holes in the plaster so that we could get to the exterior wall, and so therefore now a lot of air is coming in through those walls. We're trying to address all of this now because we do not want to be dealing with a cold house in 10 years. We want to make this house efficient so that it can heat good and cool good. We do not want to be dealing with this in 10 years. So we want to take the time right now before we even start renovations to go ahead and address all these problems now, because we don't even have time for renovations right now. We are killing ourselves trying to bust so much wood in the evenings just to get us through for the night. And it's like we bust all day on Saturday and it's still not enough to get us through. Our main job right now is just trying to stay warm. We haven't done any renovation. What we're going to do eventually, which we cannot do anything right now because we can't level the house, which that is what we need to do next because it is so cold, and we have to do it from the outside of the house now because they dug out and they can't get back under there because it's just too low to the ground. So they have to do it from the outside of the house, and they have to take siding off, but they can't take siding off because then it lets in all the cold air. But a little update in here is I finally decided on a size of a window. You can see where it used to be a full length, like floor to ceiling window, just like in the other rooms. Kitchen sink is going to be center of this window. What we're going to do is where the top of that runs, that right there, hopefully you can see that. That's where the old box was, the old frame for the window. So we're just going to keep that, and so I'm going to get a new window which will run all the way up to there. So it's going to add about 12 inches of more window, and then on top of that, then the trim, this piece of trim will go up and sit right along there, and it will kind of give it the elongated look to match the rest of the windows in the house, because right now this window does not match from the outside at all, but I'm hoping it will help. And then right here, instead of doing the French doors like I had originally wanted, I still would love the French doors, but I just don't think it's going to work because we're going to be accessing, this is how the main way that we're going to come into the house, because eventually the mudroom will be built back on out there. It'll be, you walk into the mudroom and then it'll be, you access the kitchen. Ended up going with another door, and I actually got it for free. It came out of the old office building that our family friend gave us. And so I got it out of there, and it's gorgeous. I'll take you guys up to the barn and show you it here in a minute. But it has more windows, so I think the windows probably run to about here. The door is probably the same size as this. I want as much natural light to come in through here because with the mudroom on, this is our only kitchen window, and right now it's pretty dark in here. I'm gonna get as much light to come in through this door, but that is the plans for now. And then the pantry will still be built back over here, and the fridge will sit over here. And also another thing is I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to keep this brick exposed, and we're trying to play out all of our options and figure that out, because if you notice, like, it's obviously inset, like, and it's probably about 4 inches that it's inset into the wall. So I would want to take these studs out, but then also that is built out. I don't know if you can tell, but it sits inside that box. So if we take that down, then it may fall. But it would make my, because if I want my stove to sit center of the brick is what my original plan was, and then have a countertop here and then a countertop over here. But with it like that, then the stove would be inset and set further back, and then the cabinets would stick out like 4 inches further than the stove, and I don't want that. So we're trying to figure out what to do. This is what the outside of the house looks like. The kitchen window is over on the left, and then as you can see, it is very different than the other 2 windows. So I want to try and elongate that window and make it as long as possible. But this is the door that I ended up getting for free, and that is now going to be in the kitchen. It's wood. I think the other side may be painted. I'm not sure. I can't even remember. But it's got the old doorknob. This will now be the kitchen door, and of course it's upside down. But I love it, and I think it will go perfectly. This is all the beadboard that we got, and then this is the poplar flooring that we're going to plane down and put. But we have to get all the nails out of this stuff first. So we have a lot of work to do.